Obviously, when you hear Hamzat's out of the fight, your first thought is, well, I need a replacement. I still want to compete. But does any part of you allow yourself to be disappointed that a big fight has fallen through, or do you just have to switch on the attention to the next guy right away?
I'm not really worried about too much and who I'm fighting. If I'm going to be honest, I'm here to fight. I was fit, I was ready, and this is how I provide for my family. So I wanted, everyone knew I wanted to fight. I'm here, so I'm going to fight.
I'm sure you come up with game plans for your opponent, but at this stage where you're so close to the fight, right, does it even matter who they're going to throw at you where, this might be a completely different style, or are you just so ready and so willing to compete at this point that it doesn't even matter the name that comes towards you?
Honestly, that by this stage in the camp, all the work's been done. I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm sharp, and all the skills that I worked with Chimaev for Chimaev, they no skill is wasted, no skill is useless, and a lot of it can be used in this fight. So all the work's been done. I'm ready.
I'm sure this has been a whirlwind series of events, but how excited are you for the opportunity to fight someone with a name like Robert Whittaker?
Да, предложили бой за короткий срок с таким серьезным соперником. Но я дал сразу решительный ответ, что согласился на этот бой, что я готов на этот бой. Поэтому, когда дали эту возможность, я сразу вылетел сюда.
Yeah, short notice fight for such an incredible opponent, but I didn't think about it at all. I knew to say yes. So the second the opportunity presented itself, I got in the flight just to get here as soon as possible.
I'm sure when you joined the UFC, these are the sort of names you wanted to fight. So how exciting is it to actually get in there and fight a guy I'm sure you've been watching for years?
Быстро.
Да, я понимал, что в UFC надо очень многое сделать, чтобы добраться до такого имени. Но такая возможность перепала. Я думаю, нельзя было отказаться от этого боя. Сейчас у меня это есть возможность, всего лишь день-два осталось до боя. Я выложусь на максимум, чтобы забрать этот бой.
Yes, I knew that you had to do a lot in the UFC to get to such name as Robert Whittaker, but here I got this opportunity. I knew that I had to do whatever I can to make sure to use it in my advantage. I have about a couple of days now to get to the fight, and I'll do everything. I'll leave my entire self there in order to show myself.
I saw that you didn't know who Ikram was when they offered you the fight. I'm sure you've done your research now. You just mentioned that some of the skills you had for Chimaev could have applied to this one. Do you see them as similar sort of opponents? Do they have similar styles in your mind?
They're very different opponents. Like I think working the amount of wrestling I did for Chimaev will definitely come into play into this fight. And a big thing has been about us pushing the game plan onto our opponents, and that's been kind of a constant throughout my career. So I look forward to getting in there and seeing how he deals with the amount of tools and skill sets that I'm going to bring.
How has your weight management been? Because I'm sure you were cutting weight for your fight last Saturday. How has it been having to sort of sustain that until this Saturday?
Да, это довольно-таки процесс получился неприятный, мягко говоря. Я почти довел вес до минимума, чтобы согнать его последний день. Пил воду. Ну, по плану все делал, так этот бой дали. Пришлось 2 дня продержать этот вес и заново этот процесс начать, потому что целую неделю надо было продержать этот вес, чтобы сегодня согнать. Потому что с этой точки я в прошлый раз остановил. Но это спорт, это наш вид спорта, мы должны быть готовы ко всему.
Yeah, it's not a fun process to say the least. I was almost on weight back then. I was drinking water, and I pretty much made the weight. I stopped drinking water, and then when I found out that I have to fight, I had to stop the process, kind of hold the weight that I was at that point for a couple of days, then come here, start re-drinking water again, and then stop because this is the same weight that I stopped at last week. So it's not a fun process, but this is sport. This is what we do. This is something we have to be ready for.
Going into the Paulo fight, you said, you needed to get the beast back and you were in there to hurt him, not just fight him. Is that a mentality that you saw successful in that fight, so you're going to keep pushing that going into each fight? And is that what you mean about pushing your own game plan?
It was definitely part of the equation. And, as much as it's a sport, it's a combat sport. We're in there and we're doing combat. We're two warriors going in there and we're gonna really test our mettle. So the idea to get in there and be the hunter and just hunt him down and hurt him until he goes away is very much the game plan.
process حلوة أو ممتعة اللي كانت موجودة ولكن هذا نحن كرياضيين لازم نسويه وهذا هو المطلوب.
You know, Rob was in here a minute ago and he said his plan is to be the hunter, hunt you down, hurt you, and then get you out of there. How do you see this fight playing out? Where do you have successes against him? And is it exciting to think that you can be in there and maybe finish a guy like Rob Whittaker?
Какой у тебя план? Что ты должен сделать для того, чтобы одержать победу над Витекером в эту субботу?
Слушайте, я не привык быть жертвой в бою, чтобы охотились на меня. Я его неприятно удивлю. Я сам буду охотником за ним, сам буду охотиться за ним и постараюсь финишировать его.
You know, I'm not used to being the prey over there in the octagon. I'm not used to for somebody hunting me. So I'm going to be the one that's going to surprise him and unpleasantly surprise him about being a hunter myself. And I'm going to make sure that I'll do whatever I need to do to finish the fight.
I know your calendar doesn't go past Saturday, but if you could ideally put the stakes on this fight, what would you like them to be, right? When it was Chimaev, it seemed obvious the winner, title shot. Now Ikram's come in, lower ranked guy. Do you think that affects it, or do you think the fact that you've done the UFC a favor by taking this fight short notice should still get you that title shot if you win?
The only sure thing in the UFC is that winning opens doors. And, you know, my focus, as you said, my focus is solely on this Saturday night, getting my hand raised, and I'll worry about the rest afterwards.
The Hamzat fight something that you still would want down the line, or is it you just kind of past it now?
If he's around at the top of the game and I'm around the top of the game, we you know, our paths will cross. It wasn't anything. I don't have any particular opponents that I look to fight. It's just they give me a name and I say yes, and then we're here.
You called Khabib like for advice going into this fight. So what did he tell you?
Да, я позвонил ему, мы пообщались, но не только Хабиб, но и вся команда, вся меня поддержали. Они видели мой настрой, что я хочу этот бой, потому что когда я обращался к каждому из своих тренеров, из своих старших, они в первую очередь меня переспрашивали, как ты смотришь на это. Но они видели мой позитив, мой настрой, и все поддержали меня. Всем спасибо.
Yeah, I called him for some advice, but you know, not just Habib. It's my whole team. I spoke to my coaches, I spoke to my trainers, and I asked them for advice. And the first thing that they would do is they would ask me. They say, "How do you feel about this fight?" And they saw that I was ready. They saw that I was motivated to fight, and so they're with me on this.
Robert, your former opponent Chimaev and your current opponent Ikram, they actually fought some 5 years ago. Obviously, time passes, people evolve, things change. But did you have the chance to watch that fight? And if yes, did you learn something from it? From neither of them?
You know, I think it just displays how good Aliskerov is. You know, he before he lost, he was giving Chimaev a hard time. And obviously 5 years is a long time. I'm not the fighter I was 5 years ago. I'm a much better version of it. But yeah, you know, I think it just lends to the gravity and the respect that I'm giving this fight.
And Israel Adesanya, he did like a breakdown, and he basically said that he thinks you're going to beat the brakes off of Aliskerov. I just wanted to get your reaction.
You know, I'm going in there pretty confident too. I've trained everything. I've ticked every box. I've hit every milestone that I need to. I'm going to go in there the best version of myself. And like I said, I'm looking to put him away.